CCO dropping that Rumble immediately, and Gawa, we'll see. Because Gawa, I wouldn't be surprised for the Scion ban to come out, because he's another one of those great Scion players of the tournament.
But instead, we see a Vladimir ban. Don't want to deal with the troll pool if you don't have to.
Yeah, that champion's a bit annoying to deal with, but hey, we do what we can. But looking forward, I would also like to point out that Feral Hogs has returned to us, so we will have another good time here in the bot lane.
And it looks like we have said sniper, no sniping to Caitlyn.
Caitlyn, one of our usual go-to bans here, alongside, I like to say, Kaisa and Aphelios, but we will see if we see any of those bans coming out this draft. Or picks, because, again, like in the first 3 to 4 weeks, they were like 100% pick ban.
Yep, but we've only got 2 bans left on this first phase after eliminating Lee. Looks like we are following the plan of, I really don't want jungle me with physical attacks, so...
Yes, like I don't want to get outplayed by these outplay champions. And Senna, who I've actually been seeing a lot more. Not so much in the ALS, I've seen her a lot in my solo queue games, but in the ALS she can still be huge and powerful in like with those big impact ultimates if she's able to scale for long enough.
Yeah, so Senna is actually a bit of a relief ban for me personally because I have not really seen much of her. But having looked at her kit, that global beam, like, way to make everyone else with global shots jealous that yours is instant. And it looks like we're going to have Diana again.
Diana is really out here trying, and Kinder is probably rolling over in his seat right now, crying again that there's another Diana pick. I guess the league is finally taking my advice and saying that Diana doesn't need to be banned, but we also, need to provide CC for her if you're going to allow her through.
And, oh, nope. Looks like there's that Aphelios you predicted. I was slightly excited to see an Ashe, but,
Ashe is an absurdly good champion for organized play, because she's able to easily spot out junglers and other roams and champions across the map with her hawk shot, and it provides a lot of information to your team as well as the straight up utility, excuse me, I can't speak anymore, that comes in when you decide that you don't need as much damage, so you can provide utility in the form of slows and her game-changing ultimate. But we do see the Sejuani ban come alongside the Aphelios.
And if you want to talk about game-changing ultimates, Sejuani's got you covered.
And especially with the recent buffs to her, I'm sure she's going to become a very hotly contested pick in the coming weeks.
And her jungle opponent looks to be Vi. Actually, I'd consider that a really interesting kind of juxtaposition there. We got Sejuani with her big AoE stun, and then Vi with her, hey, you specifically, no.
I'm going to run you down and punch you in the face repeatedly.
And then Jax to actually possibly add the AoE stun portion that we were just discussing. I
mean, it can synergize really well with Diana.
Yeah, that's true, with the W pulling them in, and I've got to say, a very in-your-face team coming out from Midnight here.
And they did allow Gawa to get put on that Scion, so their front line is very, very beefy on the side
and that's
of endgame.
That's a minor description here. Sejuani and Scion halfway across the darn map. Ooh, boy.
Yep,
good
and
luck chewing through that.
And as much as I enjoy rooting for the underdog, I think I might have to give it to endgame this time around. I was planning that prior to, but this is also good. Like, the team comp is just reinforcing it.
But it looks like we do not want to give Midnight any more frontlining here, banning the Leona support. Great little way to keep up that engage and stun pressure.
Because with Leona on the team, it makes it extremely easy for the follow-up, especially when you're looking at Diana, who synergizes extremely well with Leona, despite them being lore-wise on opposite sides of the spectrum. But
Eh,
they synergize absurdly well. Everybody synergizes with Leona because Leona's got everything that you need in a tank support. She's absurdly tanky.
Yep.
She provides a lot of CC. She's got a good amount of AOE damage if you're skillful with her. And even going back to the usual first 3 weeks, we do see Caitlyn, not Kaisa, but Caitlyn, Aphelios, and Senna are all there in the picker band. So maybe we might still see a Kaisa coming from Nami.
no, in fact, we won't because Kaisa has been banned.
There you go.
So Kaisa and Yasuo are the two bans that occurred when we were talking, and looks like our final one's going to be Pyke? Now, don't get me wrong, Pyke is scary, but that is not what I expected.
Pyke has been a plague, and everyone's been picking up Pyke after Joe's performances on it, because Joe is the league's Pyke main as we're looking at it. So it's just like, wow, we see what we can do on Pyke. I really want to get into that because that champion is quite strong in organized play. But it's going to be absurdly difficult to kill anybody on Endgame's team right now because with the front line of Sejuani Sion, keeping Aphelios safe and probably an Enchanter is what I'm expecting to see from them as a support. Ahri has her ultimate to keep herself safe, so she doesn't even need the front line as well as the pick-making potential to follow up. So it's just not fun.
Though speaking of safety, Xayah coming out behind a Vi and a Ghana backing her. Good luck touching her with Black Shield and Featherfall.
Which is going to be absurdly difficult, and even if the Black Shield's not necessary for the Xayah, it can go on to any of the engaging champions. Vi doesn't exactly need it with the buff to her ultimate, and giving it to Diana and Jax just allows them to run rampant in these team fights. But this, I would consider Endgame's team comp to be a standard LCS team comp. It is like very, very textbook, very by the books, a wonderful and fantastic team comp. And Gawa is there on that Sion just to not guarantee, but to make sure that they have something strong there in the top side for them.
And I have got to say, if you want to talk about ranged engage, look no further than Endgame's team comp. Sion Charge, Nami Wave, Sejuani Stun, not as much range as the first two, but still. And then with Ahri AoEing over all of that, or catching with Charm, that's infuriating.
And if Aphelios can get that really strong combo of weapons before any of their team fights of Infernum with, I can't remember, with Crescendum and Infernum, that is going to turn into an absurdly disgusting team fight.
It is. But if you want to talk about getting that to happen, if you want to stop it, Midnight's team might be a pretty darn good choice. With Morgana being able to render any given person CC immune, and you've got 3 people that want nothing more than to get in your face and lay it down, they are not as afraid of this engage as a lot of other comps would be.
But this is exactly why, like when in my solo queue game specifically, because I'm a support main first, so every single game I ban Morgana for this specific reason, because Morgana is the champion that can negate every single one of those champions just by black shielding, standing in between them all, and pressing R.
Oh yeah, and if you want, now you brought that up, this is a melee fight game. Sion, Sejuani, Jax, Vi, Diana. So many people on this team want to get in there and stay there, and Morgana is exactly the character to say, oh, you want to stand here? You might want to reconsider.
Because although there is a lot of tankiness and slipperiness coming from the side of Endgame, threat level Midnight has a lot of damage and engage too. I wouldn't be surprised to see if Vi taking a bit more of a tanky role in this game, seeing as how there's a lot of damage that will be coming out from Xayah, Diana, and Jax, and eventually Morgana, who may build a little bit more supportive and build a redemption in this game. It's completely possible, because obviously we're expecting the redemption and the Ardent Sensor from the Nami, so it's going, if they can get their mid game. Both of these teams I personally think are mid game But the later this game goes, the more dangerous it's going to get for Threat. I think it's going to favor endgame because those tanks, Sion gets infinitely tanky with more and more health, and Sejuani just is a massive, massive tank for engage. It's absurdly difficult, especially with the aftershock changes. It's going to be absurdly difficult to take her down as well, with Nami also keeping them both alive.
Nami keeping them both alive, while Ahri just says, every single person here, take my maximum damage. Ahri does not suffer at all from splitting her spells up over multiple targets, except if it comes to Foxfire, and even then, that is a minor difference. If those Qs are sweeping entire teams that are locked down by Sion and Sedge, it's not gonna be fun. Unless, of course, that starts with Vi ulting Ahri while Jax and Diana jump her. Because escape is great if you can move.
Yeah, and my thing is, especially with the team comp like Threat Level Midnight has, if they can pull ahead early, it's going to be very difficult for Endgame to hit the spikes that they want to in order to find those beautiful team fights. Because a lot of the conversation so far has been around Endgame and having a wonderful team fight, but if they don't get the team fight, and because again, Threat Level Midnight has a very good pick comp here, so they can also prevent any team fight from fully forming for Endgame, which I think is going to be their strong suit.
You are exactly correct. It was actually somewhere. If that Vi ult, Xayah with her ability to root for herself, it's difficult, but you can pull it off. Being supported by Morgana, and then Diana. Jax, I would argue, is kind of like the midpoint of the two, because Jax can totally pick you off, but with his sweeps and everything, his stun sweeps being AoE off his dodge, he is happy in both scenarios, but he is definitely at home jumping on you alone and saying, get out, I am the Grand Arms Master, I'm the one who's going to come out on top. And pretty much they do not have a single champion that cannot say that. Even their ADC in Xayah can do that to you, and it looks like. Now, forgive me if I'm actually misinterpreting here, but is that lethal tempo? Is that normal?
It's becoming meta, actually, but I still think in this game specifically, I think Aftershock would have been the best for her. Because
really,
remember,
we've been seeing Aftershock on Xayah, huh?
On Vi.
Oh no, I was talking about Xayah. Excuse me.
Lethal tempo on Xayah. Yeah, that's normal.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's pretty much her standard rune page because it allows her to. It synergizes really well with her W on the Deadly Plumage, so she can sit there.
True, she gets multiple hits easily.
Make sure that she gets all of her feathers out before she can press that E button.
Yeah, yep, I see it.
So
now that you said it, it seems pretty obvious in retrospect.
But I'm more concerned about the Hail of Blades Vi because, like I said in the Champ Select, the Aftershock is definitely Vi's going to have to engage these fights unless Angeloid lands a bind somewhere. If in a team fight, she's gonna have to engage the fights, and she's gonna need that Aftershock to stay alive in between the champions of Endgame. But like I said, it also might not matter. Because if they're allowed to pull ahead early with using the Hail of Blades, then it's fine, and she can snowball that really hard.
This really is a clash of saying, if this comes down to objective rolling team fights, then we've got an edge for Endgame. But if they keep this map split and keep the pressure on,
We don't see a 5-point start here.
Though it looks like the last Eclipse, by the way, amazing name for Diana, is doing some scouting and paying just a little for it.
Not really anything too serious. But Diana into Ahri being a historically good matchup for Diana. But it's a little bit better now that she can, at level 2, start dashing on her. but she is taking quite a bit of
It-
poke damage, just eating auto attack after auto attack.
But
from
Fish
her.
Sticks apparently has not caught the memo about being on the bad end of the matchup because there's first blood.
Apparently not. Just sat there and took like auto attack after auto attack until being forced to flash and ignite.
Much more.
Teleport being burned here.
And a pretty aggressive little exchange going on in top lane. Not in engagement or anything, but both of our top laners are down to half health already.
And it seems like another quick engage will force Garwa to back off a bit. But Slamuel is on this bot side, and Confidence is on the top side, which means that it's very possible that we might see a dive here if Garwa is unable to keep his health bar up high enough.
It is possible.
Slamuel is here in the mid lane for last eclipse,
Oh.
and with no flash available, not landing the second part of the Winter's Wrath doesn't seem to matter. Is able to pick up Fish
But there might be a counter here, not quite.
Wait, the Winter's Wrath landing. If landing that first Winter's Wrath might have spelled the end of last eclipse, because the slow would have been allowed Slamuel to land the Frostbite. Or the
Not
permafrost,
quite, just
sorry.
going into looks like we've got a bit of a red buff contest at the top here.
Confidence is in the bush, and Slamuel opting not to take it out there.
Oh, the charm
Flash
though! Nice.
Ends in Eclipse going down again. But Slamuel will lose his red buff for it.
Fish and Eclipse are at each other's throats today.
And it seems like bot lane standing a little bit standard. All of the health pots are still available on both sides. Bind landing onto Corey Trevor in a fight straight up bringing down as soon as I say anything. But Ignite burned and nothing else seems to go down.
This is scary for Xayah here. I know I talked about how slippery she is, but she is not sexy. Cannot become invincible. And she got rooted, it looked like twice in that fight.
The feather's really out here.
Yeah, if anyone steps on it, but with Samuel waiting around, this might be an amazing bait. I could actually see Nami the black shield preventing. Oh no, not quite. CC coming down, but the tower is going to trade.
Oh, but the root comes down and trades Slamuel back.
And at the same time, oh gosh, Death's flying across the map here.
Feral Hogs was able to land the the Calibrum Q, which allowed him to land the Binding Eclipse, root, and kill.
And at the same time, CCO engaging onto Sion top lane in the middle of that fight, and just kind of, just sneaking out a casual top lane kill.
There's a lot of shenanigans going on across the map.
This is a heated beginning. 3-4 at 5 minutes in is not a small record to my experience. These are two teams that do not want either one going anywhere and is willing to push immediately for that to happen.
Last Eclipse taking
goodness.
quite a bit of damage in this lane. But
Jax again sneaking out a kill onto Sion. CCO decides Little Gawa is not going to have time for.
CCO is just going to be able to push his tower, and now that Gawa doesn't have a teleport to use.
These minions are slowing him down a bit. He might pick up one plate, maybe.
He's not going to pick up any plates. He's just going to be able to push the tower in, though. Or push and make him miss the cannon.
True. Wait. Oh, no, we did miss it. Though, with that giant chop, Sion is going to clean this up pretty quick. Though, actually, he got pretty close to that plate I mentioned, just on the crashing wave.
He could have stayed for it, but doing so would have messed up his back timing.
It would have been ballsy for sure. I don't think
Gawa is able to push this wave, and he would not have been here in time to catch it.
Yeah, you're right. Probably the better move. Though then again, that's why they're playing, and I'm just sitting here talking.
Yep, that's why we're here. Slamuel is up here on this top side, ready to possibly counter-engage anything that CCO has for him. But with the Unstoppable Onslaught now available, he might be able to make something happen.
Oh, here it comes. That dodge saving so much.
But it doesn't seem to matter. There's plenty of damage coming out, and Slamuel looks like he's not going to survive with his life. Eclipse also here.
Wow. Eclipse just declaring that you are not hurt.
And this is exactly what I was talking about before. Like when you're out here and you're really trying to do this, even bot lane, Angeloid was apparently caught by, I'm assuming, in a Mariana, but I didn't see it while that fight top lane was happening. But Fishsticks is down here and is able to pick up Angeloid.
The ult flash
out from Nami.
Barely pulling. Oh dear! Here comes Vi. With that,
no ultimate available from Fishsticks, and is able to pick him up. It will also probably pick up Corey Trevor, which seems to be the case.
Does not escape with his life.
The Triumph not landing in time to save Nami.
Nope. The minions declaring there that picking up that last couple hits there to make an even exchange. Am I able to count today?
Might run in. Yep. It's 2 for 2. Slamuel and last Eclipse spotted out by the pink ward. Slamuel was there just in case and is here looking towards Confidence, who has no mana anyway, so is looking to back.
Yeah, Confidence definitely needed to get out there. Don't know if they felt Samuel's presence or just their own lack of stats, but
it seems as though CCO is looking towards to make those really quick trades on the Gawa. Luckily, he didn't get the extra knocked up underneath the tower like that.
That would have been a change. In fact,
it might happen anyway.
Jumps.
Using the Leaf Strike to get away.
The CCO on point with their jumps to turn around the gank from before, get out of 2 giant overhead slams. CCO knows where he wants to be and is going to be there.
Mid lane seems like Slamuel is here in this mid lane. A lot of more action heading towards the top side, looking for those top side camps, choosing not to take the Q. But yeah, the Sejuani buffs definitely went through from last time. I remember mentioning them yesterday because she did lose her passive before the big Raptor was able to hit her.
Looking towards some of the other sides of laning, while we've got teams are not fighting. It looks like, in general, endgame is up on CS, except in the case of CCO, who has 20 CS over Sion up there.
CCO up 4 kills in 20 CS over Gawa, which is unlike Gawa. We usually don't see that from him.
Well, you're not always dealing with a CCO that's on point as this.
Yeah, CCO is like, I want this. I want to prove that I'm the better top laner.
Well, we'll see if Gawa has anything to say about that later, because, ooh boy. We're still in the laning phase here, where that pick-off strategy is really, really shines. Split pushes too, but once we get into the point where objective-based team fights are a little more tempting, things might start to change for that particular champion matchup.
The Rift Herald was started here by threat level Midnight, and they are able to sneak it despite that Rift Scuttle being there. Because what happened was, Confidence queued over the back wall, knowing that the Rift Herald was there, and allowed CCO to jump to him. That's how both of them got in there without being spotted.
Nice. And pulling it out immediately to major pressure.
Yep, and that tower will go down to the Rift Herald because it applies 3 plates of damage.
Certainly, and that is a turret down during plate phase, and none of the other lanes stop this. The Rift Herald's pretty low, but I think it might get another charge.
With a 2,600 gold lead so far on CCO over Gawa, that is going to be a very, very strong Jax.
Wow, that charge! Are they buffed 2 towers on this?
That. It seems like it. Oh no, CCO looks like he's ready to walk away from that with his life. He's actually going to be able to kill Gawa here.
Turn this into a complete rout.
Counter-Strike not quite up yet, so he probably will not get away. Gets the 700 gold shutdown, goes
Meanwhile,
to
in bot lane,
4v2 situation underneath the tower. The first stopwatch of the game is blown, the ultimate from Xayah, and it doesn't seem like anybody will be going down here on the side of threat level Midnight. Oh, just kidding, because Fishsticks is here and picks up Last Eclipse on the way out. And it is looking for more, but doesn't have any more ultimate charges to walk in with.
Now that is definitely a way to respond to that kind of pressure in top lane. CCO managed to make a great trade out of it, but okay, you're gonna put all your value into. Oh dear. Heated exchanges in bot lane still, as goodness gracious, people are just getting bursted into oblivion left and right.
And Confidence is here with CCO.
What is this?
And another teleport coming in from Last Eclipse. Unable to land the Q there, but there's no red buff to slow down Gawa either. But Slamuel is here on the side, standing on a pink ward alongside. There's just a lot of things happening here. Feller Hogs able to jump the wall, but unable to clear that pink. But Slamuel able to jump the wall, but unable to clear the pink ward that was there. Standing on a ward now, will get engaged on by the Halo Blade's Confidence.
And it looks
as
like
the dragon gets started
claim, and there it goes. Threat level Midnight truly proving that the threat level is high today, keeping insane amounts of pressure on right now.
12 level of threat is what's happening here, and they're still not done.
Massive! Another 4 buffed in Diana W.
It's a little early in the game, so we don't see as much damage from it, but it doesn't matter because Last Eclipse will be going down, as well as Slamuel. But Confidence charges in and looking for Corey Trevor, is able to find it and dodges the charm and the Q. Coming backwards, hits on the way back, but the bind coming out from Angelwood will prevent it. The ultimate's still available, one more charge left. Fish going in, landing the charm on Angelwood. Angelwood going down, and they're still looking for more here. CCO and Nami limping away. No ultimates left on the board to use in the fight.
Goodness gracious, every time I think I have a second to... Besides, these fights are not over. This is going to be a hectic matchup.
And despite all of this, the 1 tower and the 2 dragons, as well as the 3 kills, there's still only a 1,400 gold lead on the side of threat level Midnight.
And that, at this stage of the game, is not that terribly much, especially with the kinds of plays we've been seeing coming out of Endgame.
Not to mention that there is still a 3,000 gold difference in between the top laners.
True. That top lane is probably where we're seeing the biggest single differential right now, which isn't surprising considering the effect of that one Rift Herald.
And it looks like CCO might be able to just run down the tower.
It wouldn't surprise me.
Having completed a Triforce and his Merc Treads to make sure that he's not CC'd by this heavy CC comp for too long. And I don't know if he opted for the tenacity in his runes in the precision tree.
That play of jumping to Scion and then taking out the was really bold and is paying massive dividends for him. Except if Fish can just turn him into a love-struck puppy.
Which does end up in a shutdown of about 600 gold heading into the side of Fish Sticks here. So that also is now producing a 3,000 gold difference, which kind of negates the almost 4,000 gold difference in between the top laners.
If your Ari is 3,000 gold up, something is going wrong.
She's a very strong champion, having finished her Luden's Echo and has 2,000 in the bank to spend on the back, but she has to come and defend this mid lane first. CCO
may not have. Oh, wait a second.
Confidence unable to kill her underneath the tower.
confidence with maybe a little bit too much confidence in their own damage.
CCO's apparently bug splatted, a little bit of technical difficulties there on that side. So we do see the pause coming out, and there's still only an 1,100 gold lead between these two teams. Again, very negligible.
Well, especially since there are 2 turrets down, which are, what? Are those still 300?
Yeah.
Oh.
200 years, right?
And Fish is not done just telling Eclipse to stop.
Fish is really out here trying to make sure that to keep the team comp together with his 9 kills. And running down this mid tower, CCO unable to cleanly step up while Fish threatens the charm, but is going in anyway now, knowing that the charm is down. But
CCO very outnumbered now, though.
A little too much, fighting off a little way too much, forcing out his ultimate.
Looks like Gawa might be winding up for a charge in a... No, never mind. Oh, though CCO getting himself in a bad position here. Good ward jump, but not enough to get away from an Ahri ult.
There's 3 charges on that. It's 3 flashes, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
That's on a 47-second cooldown currently. Still
47 already? Yeesh, she's got more cooldown to finish.
Yup. And she's probably running Transcendence and Ultimate Hunter. That's usually what I run anyway.
Hey, it wouldn't surprise me. I mean, when you damage and survive as often as possible.
The biggest drawback to Ahri is the fact that her ultimate is on such a long cooldown. So having Ultimate Hunter as well as the Transcendence means that you have an early 20% CDR, and now that she's way past level 11 at this point, has a very short ultimate cooldown. She converted her Dark Steel into a Magize, and looks like
we're gonna have a fight break out over Dragon here, or it's a scuffle.
And she looks to be going for the Lichbane with the extra AP and an Aether
No. Alright, looks like I had a bit of a mic issue there. Fight breaking out for the Air Drake, though.
A lot of things going on at once.
Oh my.
But I can't even keep track of everything that's happening, but Nami is taking on Feral Hogs on the side there. But it doesn't seem like anybody else is having the same success on the side of Endgame. And as they just get routed,
yeah,
the only person going down on threat level Midnight being Last Eclipse.
Yep, and it looks like Last Eclipse might have only I think I saw them catch some of the massive AoE going off in that fight. What are you doing? Gawa?
Gawa's executing to make sure that CCO doesn't pick him off.
I suppose. Goodness. But yes, it's so many AoE stuns going out in that fight, and just a bunch of burst damage coming out. There's that just hectic, all over the place engage we were talking about from Midnight. Just you're here, I'm there. Doesn't matter. We'll engage separate 3 different spots.
Yeah, and again, this is not the performance we're used to seeing from Gawa. Being 0-6-4 and not even having a completed item by 20 minutes is really, really making it difficult for him to make any kind of comeback in this game, even though the CS is only about a 10 difference.
Off days, off games, they happen, but so do just off early games. If Sion, who, let me just see here, yeah, we are seeing a good amount of tanking from him. If he can get going, then Gawa might come back in here as that tank role and still be able to enable all this other AoE damage. So Gawa's still looking at a lot of angles to get.
I still think that if Endgame is able to slow the game down and give Gawa and Slamuel time to be even more tanky, it'll work in their favor.
To reach, as it is, the end game.
Mm-hmm.
So, end game playing straight to their name now.
Because now they're down about 3,000 gold.
But it does look like they're going for those team fights, starting to ball up a little more. At least in the mid lane right now. And looks like...
I misspoke. It is a 2,000 gold lead.
Ah, yep, so it is. Slightly under 2. Though that doesn't matter when you get in the middle
there's
of
Morgana.
Zaya's attack.
Threat level Midnight, once again, playing to their strength as a pick team, able to land the Morgana bind and just chain CC, not even giving Fish a chance to use the Spirit Rush over the wall.
Not even remotely.
So she loses all of her Magi stacks on that, as well as being
shoot.
able to complete the Lich Bane. So now she has sunk 1,400 gold into an item that is currently useless.
Yeah, and with that, Midnight looking for the advantage push on Baron here. The ward has been disabled, but Pink Ward's coming out. Ult's flying to try to get a steal. Will we see? No.
We will not see that the tidal wave coming out and the ultimate coming in from Feral Hog, but it doesn't even seem to matter. Threat level Midnight just jumping the wall, and maybe does they don't between Gawa and Samuel. Gawa and Samuel together do not have damage, so they are unable to take down Nami at all. They don't even bring her to half.
No, it's so true. There was so much AoE CC coming out there. For a second, I thought that fight could go. Oh goodness, Fish is deciding that Magi stacks or not. I am going for more aggressive plays.
And he was able to take down Nami, which slows down the push pressure immensely.
And it does remove a Baron, but those Vi punches
is able to land the charm on it and flash out to safety. The Last Eclipse is still here on the side, and Last Eclipse is keeping Fish away from the inhibitor, unable to back right now because of it, which means that
very true.
It's going to cause a lot of damage to that mid lane tower.
In fact, yep, tower's going to go down, and it is not going to cost CCO his life?
Not at all. And Fish just on the side, just trying to poke down this Diana, and is unable to completely do so, eventually getting hit by a Q, which will end the life of Fish.
And
not
while that's going on,
either.
While that's going on, Angel able to just walk away on Morgana, just I don't really gonna
I don't feel
press
like
Alt W today and keep walking.
I don't feel like getting CC'd today, so I will press Q.
Oh, did they move that to her Q?
No, it's still on. It's the same kit. So like, her E is her Black Shield, her W is her Tormented Soil, and her Q is the Dark Binding. So.
Oh, so we just both said the wrong letters. Good job, us.
I don't. Did I?
You said Q. I said W.
Yeah, I was saying get hit by the Q.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, it was in a different context for me. But it seems as though CCO is looking towards Samuel, is able to land it. There's not really any damage there, and with the Black Shield, he's not going to take any damage from the, from the Bramble Vest, and just runs down Samuel.
Between the Black Shield and the Redemption, that's all the enabling CCO needed to just kind of walk up and smack people. Oh, that! Oh, it was excellent!
A beautiful Featherstorm to dodge the ultimate coming from Gawa.
Which just leaves them under no threats for Eclipse to just say, hey, you two, both of you, get out.
Yeah, that was huge, too.
That was an excellent flip. That Scion charge, oh goodness. And meanwhile, more Scion things. This is ugly for endgame. Inhibitor down.
Mid inhib, and they might turn towards this bot tower, seeing as how Nami is here on the bot tower. But it seems as though they're just going to allow Nami to split push this and split their team up to possibly take this top tower as well.
Yeah, CCO ran up there through their base, jumped the wall, and that tower. Probably Inhibitor too. Just no one's really
realize. Endgame didn't even realize that they sent three up the top lane with the Nami here in the bot side, and just are able to cleanly take that because Jack at a point where he just meltates towers. So
Jack's caught in the middle of the CC, but just Black shielded out of it. Person Diana W again.
Onto 4 champions, putting out a lot of damage, but it's really on CCO who's putting out all of the damage here and does not have the damage to survive that many tower shots. I mean, the health to survive that many tower shots. But it doesn't seem, because Confidence was not in that fight at all, and is now pushing down this bot tower. And with 2 charges of her excessive force, can easily push down towers.
And
the unstoppable burst misses entirely, but the wave is cleared. But
Oof!
the tower's picked up, and the ultimate comes out, but it does. I don't think it did the damage yet. But the feather
She's
storm
going
is
for the
there.
angle.
Barely misses the angle, but takes down Gawa anyway.
The excellent feather pull from Nani there. That was really good positioning. I thought that maybe we were chasing too many targets when the ult went toward Ari, who has decided to use her own to end that little exchange.
Yeah. Who has 18 stacks of Magi's again, as well as a completed Oblivion Orb, so any of the squishy champions with no MR on their team will explode. Well, actually, pretty much just Nami. So, like, if Fish can find a charm onto Nami, which is already difficult enough with Angeloid standing around, and her own and Nami's ultimate, everybody else is going to be okay. I think, like, having finished the Morellonomicon now to prevent the healing, to prevent nearly as much healing coming from CCO, because I think that was the main reason why, as well as now the Vi, from Confidence's Vi, who has a Maw, because both of those will have plenty of lifesteal to work with. But CCO is here.
CCO finding Gawa
down
by
Gawa
himself,
again,
but getting
Gawa's
collapsed on by
3.4K
Fish.
doesn't mean anything.
Dodge does not protect him from spells, unfortunately, and without Morgana, 1v5 just isn't gonna happen for him.
Nah, he went for the for it, but wasn't quite able to pick anybody off.
Though I can't blame him for being confident enough to try. Meanwhile, at Baron, completely unnoticed? No, not true. Last Eclipse jumping in by himself, catching 3 people in his W and trading for Ari's life before going down, which stalls for enough time to claim Baron Nash order.
But Angeloid not even bothering to Black Shield himself while walking in that far they might just be able to clean this up.
Nani taking refuge under the outer top tower that they still have, but Sejuani able to pretty easily eat all those shots. Meanwhile, Vi and Ari making an exchange at the second top tower, and
but the
Vi
lands
take advantage.
That's 10 stacks away from 10 stacks away from Fish now.
Though with how quickly they built it back up before, maybe not too concerned about that.
Slamuel being ran down by Nami. So now there's no flash, no ignite available for Fish and no flash for Feral Hogs, and no summoner spells on Corey either.
But with that Baron buff on the side of Midnight and inhibitors down, all 3 of them, at least for a little while, this is a do or die moment for Endgame. They have got one chance here, and it is going to be a tough one, but they do have it. As the real team fight breaks out, all that AoE CC coming in.
But CCO able to take down Corey Trevor before almost walking away, being forced to flash away, and no real follow-up to catch him out. But Confidence and Corey both being the team members that are going down. And I think the only chance, now that the 8,000, almost 9,000 gold lead that has been built up by Threat Level Midnight, is the only chance they have is this Elder Dragon, which is being spawned in the next 40 seconds.
Yep, we could see the team there pinging it too. They want it. They know it.
Endgame is heading towards it to see if they can, I hope, put down some good inhibition, maybe spot Threat Level Midnight out before they get there and do it themselves.
They certainly need to. This is the one chance they've gotten them for being afraid, but sometimes you just gotta die for them.
Elder Dragon's coming up in the next 10 seconds, and yet Slamuel is nowhere to be found. Just hanging out in the top lane, pushing that, and now running into CCO, so he's gonna go down.
Fish
Nami able to
picking off Nani.
get a cheeky charm combo off on Nami, like I said, would be able to one-shot with the current build that they're running. CCO completely out of mana and will also go down, which means that this game doesn't seem to be over yet. All 5 members of Endgame are now turning their eyes towards this Elder Dragon, but or 4 of them, seeing as how Gawa is sitting back to catch the minions at the Nexus Tower.
especially seeing as they just managed to get 2 picks and 2 of their inhibitors are back up. Definitely their chance to turn the game around. Nami's ult is going to catch a bunch of people. Redemption coming down.
And Fish able to pop Eclipse well before. This game is definitely not over yet. A teleport coming in from Gawa, it seems, and is able to secure the rest of the team for them with no Nami.
A brutal fight coming down, ending for threat level Midnight, swinging the Elder Drake too. That gold difference you talked about, that 9,000, it's now 4.
The gold difference doesn't mean anything if you're not alive to use it.
Exactly, but that too.
Before that fight broke out, remember, Nami was caught out with a cheeky charm coming from Fish, who was sitting in an unwarded bush and was able to just ambush Nami.
And yeah, that's definitely where the momentum started, and then see.
So running back to the gold. That is 13,000 gold that you just took out of a fight.
Yeah, that's true. Those were 2 of their strongest members just gimped before the fight started, and now as a team, the difference has shrunk drastically.
Yeah, so like when you factor in the lack of a Jax and the lack of a Zaya, that's a 28,000 gold that you have on your team just not in the fight.
And that is definitely a differential you don't want to have.
And now that Endgame has the Elder Dragon, it is extremely possible, especially now that the gold is shortened to 4,000, that Endgame might be able to turn this game around. Because it is turning into that point where these champions are getting tanky.
It is entirely possible, and I would say that the ball is fully in their court now, with that Elder buff on and their 3rd inhibitor having been down for a little while now. They've been able to burn off that timer without really much threat. Gawa staying back to catch the minions has left him out of the fight, but it didn't impact them very much and has allowed him to do some pretty much free farming.
And the Elder Dragon buff will still be up and available during the time of Baron spawning.
Though it looks like Nami might not be, but Eclipse is gonna pay for it as
Eclipse and Nami being taken down here, with Fish out here in a position trying to make sure but unable to pick anything more off. But they traded 2 for 2 so far, but this fight is not over yet. CCO jumps onto Feral Hogs, but Feral Hogs still had Flash, so is able to walk away. The Black Shield plus the Dark Binding
is
almost there, but Gawa is there tanking tower with Slamuel now. And like I said, the Elder Dragon was still up. So now...
And Sion just gracefully taking those doesn't even care.
Sion is at Gawa is at the point to where he has his triple armor. He has the Sunfire Cape. He has the Randuins. He has the Ninja Tabby. That is a lot of armor and a lot of health on top of the Warmog. But it seems as though confidence is just running in with the.
But with that Warmog, he was able to just walk back into this exchange at full health and swing it so that we're going to catch all 3 members of Team Midnight and just take them out at their own inhibitor turret. The momentum of this game has completely swung.
And now Fish has come back just in time to catch these minions here at the Nexus.
And with Baron spawning with 3 members of Midnight down, 2, Jax. This is something that is extremely dangerous for them. If they catch this Baron, they are going to almost completely nullify that gold difference, team-wide anyway, as we are already down to under 2K.
And the ultimate from Diana still needs to be respected. She hit 16 now, and with her build, despite not having a Void Staff or a Death Cap yet, it still hits for a lot. And CCO able to instantly pop Trevor, and that seems to be their go-to right now, just popping Trevor before every single fight.
Which is completely fair. The CC that comes out from Nami, slows and auto attack damage are particularly frustrating. But it looks like Fish is tired of this nonsense and is going to try to catch Eclipse. but be completely countered as the Black Shield comes through. Charge comes in, knocks Eclipse out of the fight, and then the Vi ultimates locks Sion down, but Sion is just too tanky for this. Looks like what caught by himself. No, the flash comes out over the wall into the red buff pit. And then the AoE damage catches up as the second engage does not go Endgame's way.
And this is like not only one but two straight upsets in a row, because there's no way that Slamuel, who just went down as well, and neither Corey Trevor to stop the push from that level of midnight. So we opened up today with the most interesting way possible with two straight upsets. We saw the fall of the Kings of Iron Dragon, and then we saw the second place team, which is Endgame. So we saw both the number 1 and the number 2 seeded teams who've had dominating and commanding performances throughout the series, who have only lost, where Endgame had only lost to Iron Dragon prior to today, taking their second loss.
And I'm glad you were. I wasn't ready for that game to be over. I'm still wheeling over here, and I wasn't even playing. That game ended in an instant. I didn't even think we were approaching that moment.
I saw it because with the two inhibs going down, and it was only like Endgame only had one more fight to lose cleanly. If they lost one more fight relatively cleanly, it was going to end the game, and they did.
Yeah.
Because it started off, that last fight started off with Trevor getting picked off, and then they had to fight the 4v5, which started off as a 4v4, and Diana hitting a pretty big ultimate here, and Gawa being caught over the wall in between three members of Threat Level Midnight, just unable to stand all that damage. It just didn't go out well. It did not turn well.
No, it did not. And you are completely correct with the situation on the map there. I just didn't think we were going to see that fight at that moment. The positioning for Baron was coming out. There was the movement, certainly the pick on Trevor, but that turned into a fight so quickly, I barely even felt it coming.
Okay, and we were able to book an interview with CCO here, so let's jump down and see what he has to say.
Hello.
Hey, CCO.
All right.
Yes.
Wow, I bet that felt good.
Yeah. I don't know. It was a game of pushing leads. Ari knew what to do with her lead, and she used it really effectively. But our team was able to just kind of group together and not let her take too much advantage of that lead.
Hey, I've got to agree with you there. She certainly was roaming around that map, just having her way with a few things. But
and
so
had max Magi stacks for a good amount of that game for the game too.
Yeah. Going into this game, I was talking with my team, saying stuff like, "We need to focus Ari. Like she will carry this game if we don't."
And
like, was it prior or like during?
We had a scrum match yesterday where she popped off his rumble really hard, so we knew who the priority target was.
Mm-hmm. And you knew that after you had kind of neutered Gawa there in the top lane, it was like there was no damage to be coming out from anywhere else aside from the Aphelios.
He built almost the exact same items yesterday, and he rushed Omen when we had one person with crit. So I mean, interesting item choice.
Like, it's a thing that people do. Because I'm assuming that he did that. Like, I can't speak for him, but I would say it would be more so for the team fight aspect, whereas slowing down everybody else on the team. For the active, I guess, but people make their choices.
But the thing is, when it comes down to it, a lot of our fight, if Sion's ever in a position to land a good Omen, he's rather on top of Ari, which means he's not doing a good job as a tank because he's not really frontlining. He's rather in the middle getting Diana, or maybe in the backline getting Xayah and Morgana. Our team fights really split up, that we're not really all grouped in one spot.
Yeah, I didn't think there was any like clean 5v5 fights that started the way that Endgame wanted it to.
Yeah. There were a few where they caught us out, but I will admit there was no really great 5v5 fights. I don't know. Another thing is, like, no one on their team built any sort of MR. I guess Locket on Sejuani, but I mean, we had Morgana, Diana, and Jax that got a Wit's End. I'm a little surprised not to see a single MR item.
But
hey, when you were doing this, not
Sorry.
as surprising.
so,
Sorry,
but
what?
how does it feel taking down the number 2 team?
Wait, that was number 2?
That was the number 2 team. That was Endgame.
Oh.
Didn't even know that was the number 2
Oh
team.
goodness.
I mean,
Well,
yeah.
Because the number 1 team was Iron Dragon, who was the game before you guys, who took their first L, and then you guys gave Endgame their second L of the series.
and they had only lost prior to Iron Dragon.
Yep.
Interesting. I don't know.
Hey,
When we played against Iron Dragon, it was a bit of a kick to the face because they did a strategy we didn't expect. But at the end of the day, it's just who makes better calls. Like, what team can stay together better?
What team performs on what day? That's really what it comes down to. And you guys really performed today. Congratulations to you guys.
Yeah. Well,
But that will
team
wrap
game.
up our second team game. That'll wrap up our second game of the day, which with Threat Level Midnight taking the victory over Endgame. So before we go to break, I do want to tell you to thank everybody for tuning into the stream. It really is helpful. If you're enjoying it, leave a like, follow, subscribe, even though I think this is to our YouTube channel, because we do have a YouTube channel where all of the past broadcasts are up and every single game is there, so you can find that. But until then, up next, we do have Martin Cabello, the Third Fan Club, against Legacy Ambassadors. So we'll see you guys in a few minutes.